Thanks, everyone. Excited to be here. So I'm Mike Ainsworth. I'm a solutions engineer from SaltStack. Title of the presentation, what if I want to open 700 CD trays at once? What a ridiculous thing to want to do. But, this talks really about speed and scalability and how that applies to infrastructure operations and IT operations. And how we would approach making things a little more agile and a little bit more DevOps-y in the infrastructure. So, first off, I've been in IT infrastructure automation since the late 90s, which I'm slowly starting to realize is a really long time ago. And I've stuck with this career for so long because I'm finding that it's a lot of fun. I'm sure as you do as well. When you are in IT infrastructure automation and the DevOps, you get to do things that look like magic to everybody else. You get to make sweeping changes to the organization and do things that are very automated and cool and solve really interesting problems. One of the things that we've been faced with in the last few years is looking at rolling out code more quickly as we respond to the agile development and being able to respond to changes in a more quick and agile fashion. So we have ops guys now that are starting to use big words like continuous integration, continuous deployment, user stories, as ops is now becoming a little bit more like development. In order for this to be successful, though, we have to start to think about solving problems a little bit differently. We have to get away from sort of the ad hoc solution implementation of yesteryear of, I'm going to create some script and it's going to be really, really awesome, and then nobody else knows how it works, right? So we have to think about how different minds are going to solve problems in different ways, and 3 months from now, I might not recognize the solution that I created originally for a problem. So how do we get around this? What do? We need to think about having scalable ways of attacking things, and scalability is not just a technical term. It's not just about speeds and feeds, it's about having ideas that transcend across the operations organization and has the ability to be applied through common ways of understanding things. So we need to get away from not so scalable methods of just writing out some code and doing some cool hacker stuff and having something awesome, to having scalable solutions that everybody understands and are repeatable and documented but are still awesome. And so that means we need to move away from scripting silos and more towards like management frameworks. And a lot of you probably are doing a lot of this today. You're implementing stuff that's based on management frameworks, some Python and some Ruby, and moving away from the old VB scripts and shell scripts and stuff. But that means we have to get everybody on board, because if we still have some people that are out cowboying it up and creating some ad hoc scripts here and there to do some really cool stuff, then we still have some scalability issues that we need to address. So how do you get everybody on board with a tool chain? Well, one thing is to have something that is fast and people are generally finding to be easy to learn. So we need to find a tool chain that works with everybody's skill sets and people find to be intuitive. It's also important to have a tool chain that allows people to work the way they want to work. Allows people to work with tools and methods that are familiar to them, and allows for some flexibility but still provides the ability to do some standardization as well. And so that is another thing to think about is having something that's really, really, really fast. Not just me talking really fast, but it helps to have a system that provides real-time information about the infrastructure and real-time results about what you're doing. And so those are some of the things that we actually are doing at SaltStack. But so this is our one shameless plug in the deck. But that is what we're focused on, is trying to have speed and scalable solutions to problems, and looking at ways of doing that. We are open source, and open source, there's a lot of good things to be said about that. There's no better way to get a lot of really creative people, really smart people focused on solving a problem than with open source. And so definitely encourage the use of open source regardless of what tool chain you end up selecting. But the best thing about selecting a good tool chain is that at the end of the day you want to be worried less about the problems of the infrastructure and about the tool chains, and more about doing the magic that makes IT operations awesome, and doing really cool things like maybe popping open 700 CD-ROM trays at the same time. And with that wraps it up for SaltStack. Hope everybody has a great show and a good evening.